Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. So I'm out and about today. It's Saturday and I stopped at our local produce stand, and she had just got in a 50-pound bag of the deer apples. So we are going to be making some applesauce, which is amazing, homemade applesauce. We're also going to try and do some apple butter and stuff. That'll probably be a little bit later on. But I got like a 50-pound bag of apples, so right now I'm out grocery shopping, and I just wanted to tell you guys that we are going to do a big canning day of applesauce and apple butter. So y'all stay tuned. It's going to be super fun. I love making it. I'll catch you in a little while. Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. So I made it back home from getting the apples and everything we need, and I've already come in and I've set everything up so that I can prepare to make the applesauce and the apple butter and stuff. So my setup is a little weird, but I'm going to show that to y'all. I have my food mill out. I had the apples over there. I still have to wash the apples, and I'm going to cut them. When you have a food mill like I have, you don't have to peel the apples. It will just take care of the skins when you put them in to boil them. So all you're going to do is you're going to wash your apples really well. You're going to cut them into slices, put them in water, let them boil for a little while. It don't take them very long at all. And then you're going to take them out, put them through the food mill. It's going to get rid of your skins. It's going to put your juice and your pulp into a bowl. And I'm going to show y'all what that looks like here in just a second. And I'm going to show y'all the bag of apples, and I've got to get all of them washed up. There's about 25 or 50-pound bag. I'm not sure which one I grabbed. So, yeah, we're in for a long processing day. That is for sure, because this is going to take quite a while, and it's going to be very, very sticky. If you've never made applesauce before, it takes quite a while, and it is sticky. So, I have everything cleaned up and ready to go. I've got my cutting board out. I got my lemon juice here. I got my knives, I've got everything ready, my jars are over there, and I'm going to show y'all the setup real quick. Okay, so this is the food mill. I have a plate under it. This is a big platter to hold the apple peelings with and the cores. You do have to core them, but the seeds and stuff. Then I have a bowl here sitting on 2 5-gallon buckets, so that when the juice comes out, you'll just push this down like that, and the juice will run out and go into this bowl that I have here. And over here are the apples. They're right there in that bag. So that is a huge bag. So I've got to get started getting those washed and everything. But this is the food meal up close. I really love this food meal. It's the first one I've ever had, so I really do love it. And like I said, it's going to process everything for me once I get it to going. And then we'll be able to get all the apples took care of. So if you see me messing with my phone, I'm having to adjust my camera with my phone. I don't have a remote switch, so that's what I'm doing. This is going to be really, really loud when we put it on. I'll show y'all what it does and what it sounds like, but I won't leave it on the entire time that I'm doing them, because it is super loud. And it doesn't take but just a second to process them and all that, and then we'll separate them out. And you can run the pulp or the peels again through it, and it'll get even more juice out than it does the first time. Then we'll separate the juice from the sauce part. So, and I do mine a little different because I pre-cook my apples before I make my applesauce. So that is something a lot of people will heat their applesauce back up. I've seen so many do that, but I don't do that. Once it cooks and I run it through, then I process it into the jars, and then I water bath can it, and it's good. You can pressure can it too if you want to, but it's going to make it really, really mushy, because that's basically cooking it again, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to get started. I'm going to grab a handful of apples. I'm going to get them washed, dice them up, and get them in some water, and then I'll be back to show y'all once they're done boiling for the short amount of time that it'll take. Then I'll show y'all how to do the process and get it all started. So I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so right here I have just a regular apple core. Let me zoom y'all out a little bit. And some of the apples don't look great. Like this one has a really bad spot. So those I will cut off. But what I do is I just run it through the apple core. And then just take the core and throw it in a scrap bucket. And then if this part is good and doesn't need anything, I'll just throw it into the pot. Because that's what we're going to be, cooking. So I'll just cut off any bad spots. Like I said, the peeling is going to come off anyway. So it's not really going to make that big of a difference. It's not going to mess with your flavor or anything. You just don't want to have like rotten spots in your apples. Because then it's not going to be very, very good. So I'm just cutting it and coring it. Just wash your apples really well. So this one, like I said, is pretty bad. These are actually deer apples. That's how I got them so cheap. So you're just going to cut off the bad spots. That's okay right there. See, this one's too soft for the apple core, so I'm just going to cut it and just go with it. And when they're too soft like that, that's how you know if it's good or bad, and that one was bad. So we're just going to toss that one. We can save this one little part right here. That's just part of having deer apples versus fresh apples that are pristine for eating. So I'm going to get this taken care of, and then once I get all of these cut up, I'll come back and I will show you how many we get in the pot. Okay, so I don't know if everybody knows, when I'm calling these deer apples, I don't know if they all know what I'm talking about, but I'm going to show you like kind of what I mean. Okay, so this apple is almost perfect. This would be one that they could put in a store. When you get a deer apple, sometimes they have rotten spots like this. Or they will have damage like this, bug damage. That all you got to do is cut it off. These are perfectly good to eat. They are completely fine. There's nothing wrong with them. The reason they're called deer apples is because they're seconds. So they didn't make the cut to go straight into the grocery stores, or sometimes if you go to an orchard, they'll have seconds. These are better for like baking and cooking than eating, but you can eat them completely fine. They're really juicy, they're really sweet, they're super delicious. There's nothing wrong with them. They're fine. They just have blemishes on them. Like that one has a little blemish. You cut them off, cook with them, they're completely fine. So that's the difference in a standard apple you buy in the store and a deer apple. That's the only difference, is the quality of the apple. Okay, so I have the pot pretty well full enough. I'm going to add water to it, get these on to boiling, and then we'll come and we'll process them, and then we'll put them in the jars and do everything that we need to do with them. But it's not going to take very long, because all they have to do basically is soften up to run through the food mill, because the food mill does an amazing job with the peelings. So it's, to me, a lot easier. I used to peel and core and cook and strain and the whole 9 yards until I got a food mill. So if you have the money, they are an investment. They are really expensive, but if you have the money, they're well worth it. If you do, for instance, tomatoes, I do a lot of tomatoes, do apples in the fall, anything like that, this is great for that. Last year I made cranberry sauce, and I ran the cranberries through it. You have to pit the cranberry first. It will not go through if you do not pit the cranberry. So, but you can run cranberries through it. You can run grapes through it. Any kind of fruit you can run through it. So, but yeah, make sure there's no pits in it. Okay, so I got the pot on the stove. Let me show you. I went ahead and I did another pot. So they're both on there boiling. It'll take them probably 15-20 minutes. And then we'll come back and we'll look and see if they're soft enough to run through the food mill. I had a big canner and I do not know what happened to my canner, so I'm having to use pots. So when I say it's gonna take me all day, it's literally gonna take me all day. So, but I put lemon juice in them so that they don't turn brown while they're cooking. They'll still be nice and pretty when they come out. And then we'll get started and get all the skins off and run it through the food mill. Okay, y'all, we're back. So this is the fun part. The apples have been cooking for about 30 minutes, 20 minutes. Anywhere between 20 to 30 minutes, depending on how soft they already are when you get ready to do it. So we're gonna get ready to run them through the food mill. And like I said, the video's gonna be kind of loud for a minute. But I wanna show y'all how it actually works. And then I'm gonna keep doing the other batch and we'll just keep going until we finish all the apples. So I'm gonna pull some of the apples out now and I'm gonna show y'all what to do. So I'm gonna take a spider and I'm going to dip some out to run through the mill, and I'm going to fill the top of this up with apples. And it's going to shoot through here. The cores or the peels will come out here, and the juice is in here. Make sure you have a good clean bowl because this is what you're going to make your applesauce in. So you want it to be nice and clean. So here's our apples. I hope y'all are not zoomed in too far, so you can, or too far out. Okay, so I'm going to just dip some out. I'm going to put them right in the top up here. Now the reason I'm doing it this way is because basically the juice that is in this pot right now is apple cider. That I'm going to keep processing the apples in that. And then, because they are clean and everything, you can use this as apple cider as well. It's really good. So I'm going to cut this on. Like I said, it's going to be really loud. I'm going to try to keep y'all in the shot, so I may have to move you around a little bit. I'll put you to the side right here so that you can see what it does. I'm sorry, I'm still not very good with all this angle stuff and all that. But okay, so like I said, really, really loud for a minute. But I'm going to cut it on and I'm going to show you what to do. Hold on 1 second, it didn't lock. Okay, sorry, it didn't lock there. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to push it down in here. It's kind of hard to do it from the side, but you just push it down in there. Your peelings are coming out the side over here, and all your beautiful sauce is coming out right there. You're just going to keep pushing it down in there and running it through. So that's all it does. Then your sauce is going to go in here. And then I like to run mine a second time just because some of the peelings where it didn't go through the first time, it got in there. So I'm just going to clean this out and then I'm going to run this through for a second time. And then I'll run the peelings through for a second time to get the extra juice out of the peelings. So I'll be right back to show y'all what it looks like then. Okay, so that after you run it through a second time, that right there is all the peeling that you're going to get back. So, I mean, you get a lot of extra stuff from doing a second round. There was a lot of juice came out of that. So we're going to keep doing this process until we get this whole pot done. And then we're going to process this up. We'll put our sugar in it. I don't like to make it too sweet. I just don't like overly sweet applesauce. But we will put a little bit in there. And then we'll go from there. So I'm just going to keep going. And I'll show y'all the finished process. Okay, y'all, so this is a step most people don't do. I like to do this. I ran everything through, but I'm running it through a second time just to make sure I'm getting every one of those peelings out. I don't want any peelings in my applesauce at all. And if you're wondering why mine is pink, that is just because of the apples that I used. It depends on the apple that you use, what color your applesauce will be. So this is just the final run through, and then we'll jar it up and it'll be good to go, and then we'll put a label on it. Okay, so I wanted to show y'all the reason I run mine through a second time, and a lot of people don't, and that's fine, but I run it through the first time and it gets all of the peelings that I showed you. Let me see if I can zoom y'all in here. Okay, so this is the peeling from when we first ran it through twice. We ran it through 2 times. You're going to get that. It's super dry. But if you run the sauce through by itself, you're going to get this. That is still little bunches of peelings. So even though it's softer than this is still peeling, because nothing else will come out except for peeling out of this end. So now I know that there is no peeling at all in my applesauce. And that's the applesauce. I'm going to let that drip for just a second. I already have my jars ready. Let me fix the camera. This next part is totally up to you how you do this. I like I said, not very sweet applesauce, but I don't want it like it is right now because those apples weren't very sweet. But if you do get really sweet apples, you don't even have to put sugar in it. But I'm going to put a little bit of sugar in mine, and you just put it in there until you get the taste that you like. So it's totally up to you how much you put in there. And I always put just a little bit of lemon juice in mine. You do not have to put lemon juice in it. You don't have to do anything like that. You can can it straight like that. But I like to do this because it keeps the color pretty in there. And it helps it preserve a little bit better. You don't want a lot. Probably for that many, I would use maybe like a couple of tablespoons and stir it in really well. And then we'll add our sugar in. So I'm going to show y'all how to do that. I'm going to get everything together. And then we're going to put them in the jars. I already have the jars washed, the lids, the rings, everything's ready to go, except for we got to put the applesauce in there. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I just put 2 tablespoons of lemon juice in there. And I got my sugar right here. So I'm just going to get my sugar out. And I'm going to start out slow because I don't know how much I'm actually going to need for this. So let's go with 1/4 of a cup to start with, and then we'll just go from there until it gets the sweetness that we like it. I feel like I'm never prepared when I get started on something. Then you're just going to stir it together. Just until it's the sweetness that you want it to be. And again, that's just a preference thing for me. I don't want it really sweet. I'm just going to use this spoon that I was cleaning the thing out with to taste it. Okay, it's still a little bitter. And like I said, I did add lemon juice. So I'm going to do another 1/4 of a cup. And that should be good. I don't think it's going to need any more than that. And I really love this pretty pink color. Any kind of, whatever apple you use, that's the color applesauce you usually get. If you buy the deer apples, you're always going to get a pink applesauce. So if that bothers you, you may not want to use those. And again, that's just totally preference. I'm going to taste it again. That's almost perfect. I'm not going to do a whole one this time. Just a little bit extra. And we're going to call that good. That has the perfect amount of sweetness to the bitterness. So, and I'm not worried about my jars being hot because the applesauce isn't hot now. This is usually called the cold pack method, which is completely fine to do. And then I'm just going to put it in my pressure canner, and I'm going to water bath can it in my pressure canner. So we're going to put these in the jars. I've got the rings and the lids over here. And I'm using my favorite lids. They're from 4 Jars. If y'all haven't ever bought anything from them, they have really good jar lids and jars and everything. So I really like them. They don't leak on me for some reason. So I'm just going to fill this up. And I'm going to leave just about ½ inch ahead of space. Maybe an inch. I'm going to throw a Regina lid on there. And then I'm going to get it ready to go in the water bath canner. So I'm going to get these jars filled up and then I'll be back. Okay, y'all. So out of that little bunch there, and like I said, I'm still working on more. But I ended up with 5 pints and just almost 6. So I don't know how many I'm going to end up with total. This is what it looks like. It's a pretty pink color. It's salmon pink. It is so good, y'all. I'm going to put that in the water bath canner. And I guess I'm going to have a long night. It's just me today. Natalie has a travel ball game and she's in another state. So her daddy and her brother and her sister went. So I'm here doing fall canning. So I just wanted you guys to see how to do this. And I had somebody ask me, could I do something with apples for fall? So if y'all have ideas like that, I am glad to do it for you. If it's something that I can do. So I'm going to get these in the canner. And I don't know what we'll do next time, but you should see me in a couple of days. Oh, and my new rug came. I gotta show y'all my new rug real quick. Okay, so here's the new rug that I was telling y'all about that I got for the table. Look how pretty. And then my table. So yeah. So I guess I am going to go finish doing all of this cooking. I still have a ton of apples left right there. That bag's still full. So I'm gonna cut this video off here. I'm gonna get these in the canner and get them started. And I hope that you guys have enjoyed coming along with me. And I will see you in the next video. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. And y'all have a blessed day. Bye.